Alright, in this video I'm going to be going over the final UFC fight night of this year. UFC Fight Night. Colby Covington versus Joaquin Buckley. It was extraordinary. One of the best cards I've ever watched in my life. It was a little awkward of a watch for me because I had to watch while I was driving. But, while I was in the passenger seat, I wasn't the one driving. But, this card was amazing. It started off a little rocky, and then it got insane with some crazy highlight KOs in the prelims. Michael Johnson gets a highlight KO, which I really wanted to happen, so that I'm very happy about that. But I'm only going to be going over the main card in this video because I did not predict the prelim fights. And the main card was amazing. There's we'll get into it. Amazing highlights all across the board. The only sour taste in my mouth is the main event's conclusion because of the cut, but we'll get into it. We'll start it off with Navajo Sterling versus Tuco Tokos. So Navajo, it's kind of hard to follow the Michael Johnson performance, I will say that, but Navajo, he destroyed Tuco Tokos on the feet. He did very well. Tuco had his little moments, but overall Navajo Sterling just beat the shit out of him. 99 total strikes to 34, especially in the first round. Put it on him bad. Almost finished him in the first. I really thought he could, but he was being reserved a bit, I think. But Navajo was ripping to the body like a monster. He definitely is getting a lot of good tips from these city kickboxing guys. And he looks good. I know Tuco Tokos isn't great and going to he should be able to finish him. In my brain, he should be able to finish him. But he didn't finish him. He just destroyed him on the feet for all 3 rounds, really. So yeah, good for Navajo Sterling. He gets this one done. I picked Navajo Sterling by knockout. So not disappointed, but didn't go the way I thought it would. But yeah, he destroyed him, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, next, Adrian Yanez versus Daniel Marcos. So I went with Daniel Marcos because Adrian Yanez tends to fumble the bag, and Daniel hasn't seemed to do that yet. And Adrian loses to pretty decent people, and Daniel Marcos hasn't lost yet, and he's fought some pretty decent people. So I picked him. I thought he definitely won. Clearly, I don't know if there's any debate on that topic. I really hope there isn't, really, because I think Daniel Marcos clearly won. He definitely won the first and the third to me. I think Adrian Yanez did get it done in the second. It was just a striking battle with some clinch game work weaseled in there. Marcos got 2 takedowns, but Adrian Yanez was able to get up. And in the first round, Marcos was just better on the feet overall. And then in the second, Adrian Yanez had bigger moments. Adrian Yanez has like a weird way of throwing, which leaves his head all bobbly and wobbly, which I don't think is very good optically for the judges and stuff. That's just my opinion on that. He has a weird way of absorbing strikes and throwing, which leaves him really off balance head-wise, and I don't know if that's just me seeing that, but yeah, just a thing I'd throw in there. But yeah, Daniel Marcos, I think, clearly won the first and the third, just out damaging. In the third, he just out-controlled pretty much Adrian Yanez. He controlled him on the ground for a little bit, controlled him against the fence, controlled him on the cage, got in shots when he needed to, and then but then at the end of the third round, Daniel was pretty much done. He had no cardio left. Adrian Yanez just did not have any cardio, I guess, at all either, because he had a chance to put it on him and he just wouldn't. And he tried to clinch him again, which is so stupid from Yanez, and Daniel Marcos gets away with the decision. Cool. I'm fine with that. Adrian Yanez has proved to not be reliable, and Daniel Marcos has proved to be pretty reliable. So yeah, good for Daniel Marcos. Next, Vitor Petrino versus Dustin Jacoby. So this one is insane. What a crazy fight. Vitor Petrino, I picked him because I thought he was going to be more powerful. He was going to be the bigger guy. He was going to be able to finish Jacoby early with a big power shot, since Jacoby has just been finished. But no, I was very wrong. This was a tit-for-tat striking battle on the feet, both trying to evade big power shots coming their way, and both trying to land their own little shit and big shit. There was a lot of faking, a lot of throwing big and big exchanges and being like, holy shit, and resetting. There's a lot of that going on. I thought Jacoby could have gotten the first round, but it was very close. Vitor Petrino, to me, maybe did a little bit more, but I don't know. It's hard to say in the first round, but the second round, I think Vitor Petrino definitely got. Third round, and this is all just striking. Vitor did a little bit more in the second, striking output wise and bigger shots. Justin just probably did a little bit more in the first, but Vitor is hitting him with bigger shots, I would say. So I don't know how to judge the first round, but we didn't need to judge it. We did not need to judge it because in the third round, Dustin Jacoby at 3 minutes 44 seconds completely flatline KOs Vitor Petrino in one of the sickest ways I've ever seen in my life. And it was just a straight right hand, but the way Vitor Petrino fell in his big dump truck ass is very noticeable. Vitor Petrino, when he face planted, that was all I could see was Vitor's ass, and it was pretty funny. The whole knockout in general was so funny to me, just super unexpected from Jacoby, in my opinion. Flatlines Vitor Petrino out cold, like kind of how Usman did Masvidal. But Vitor Petrino ends face planted in the mat with his ass up in the air. It was so funny. And this card is just so good. But yeah, Jacoby gets it done in third by KO. Unbelievable. So sick. I don't give a fuck that I got it wrong. It was awesome. But yeah, good for Justin Jacoby. Next, Manel Kape versus Bruno Silva. Such a sick fight. Manel Kape is my new favorite flyweight. I know I said that they should give him Asakura next as like a rematch thing. But after that performance, I just fucking give Manel Kape the title shot at this point. Pekar Front's already beat Pantoja. This guy is an animal, and he's so fucking entertaining. Just give him the title shot anyway. Who cares? Just give him it. He hasn't. I don't think Pantoja's beat him yet. Maybe he has. Whatever. Even if he has, fuck it. Just give him the title shot. Makes sense to me. He's so entertaining. So about the fight, Manel Kape was an entertainer, full-on entertainer in this fight. He looked like a demon, how fast and quick and crazy he was. He was showboating the whole time. And this was going through a lot of trauma, Manel Kape was in this fight. Not by, like, strikes, but by fouls. Bruno Silva nutshotted him 3 fucking times really hard, right on the cup, over and over and over. And Manel Kape still was just, like, fine with it and still like push forward. I was worried he was going to get disqualified by the third. That was not good. Bruno Silva was not doing a good job at all at getting those kicks above the belt. It looked weird. But Manel Kape pushed through, and he made this fight insane. They were trading back and forth, but Manel Kape was quicker. The whole fight, he was quicker. He got to the punch first and last. He was just on it. The entire time he was on it. Getting into a flow state where he just would slip and rip and slip, and it was crazy. Manel Kape easily got away with this. Easy decision win, but he didn't want it to be a decision win. And this was unexpected for me. I didn't think Manel Kape was going to finish Bruno Silva, but he did in the third. Controversial, I will say. He did nut kick Bruno Silva pretty. It was a grazer. It wasn't like the way Bruno Silva did him. Those were dead on. Manel Kape grazed Bruno Silva's cup. Bruno Silva kind of went, oh shit, nut kick, right? Right? And then the ref just didn't give a fuck, and Manel Kape poured it on him. And don't get me wrong, it was probably a nut shot. Bruno Silva nut kicked him 3 times, pretty hard. And Manel Kape was working the body really well in this fight, and it probably had something to do with the way that shit hurt. So I don't really give a fuck about the finish. I like it. I'm fine with it. He finished him to by TKO to ground and pound, and I like this shit a lot for Manel Kape. He called out Israel Adesanya, shitting on him, which is an A+ in my book any day of the week. He called out every other contender and said they're a bunch of shitters and that he should get the title shot, and I agree. After this, we need this like performance in the UFC all the time. I want this to be the new normal. He's like the showboating that I miss from Anderson Silva, is how I look at it. Anderson Silva did something that I don't think anybody has been able to replicate in that way, that he kind of just showboats and is a huge piece of shit, kind of, when he's in the octagon. And I love that. I love showboating, I love dropping your hands and moving your head around like a dick. I love it. It's awesome. And Manel Cap brought that energy in this fight, and I loved every second of it. Can't wait to see what he does next. Next, also, Cub Swanson versus Billy Quarantillo. I went with Cub Swanson, and I am very happy to say he got this one done in an amazing way, but we'll get to that. First round, Cub Swanson is pretty much all on the feet this whole fight. Cub Swanson doing a little bit better, hitting him hard. A little bit of worry towards the end where Billy started to have some success himself. But I thought Cub Swanson got the first round by just power punching, punching clean, getting out when he needed to, and just piecing up Billy Quarantillo in the first. Clearly, I think he got the first. Second round, Billy started doing better. He started finding his shots. Cub started kind of slowing down. Billy started to clinch a little bit more. Cub, I felt like Cub was slowing, which made me really worried that it was just going to slow to a halt, and then Billy was going to start taking over. But Cub didn't let that happen. He kept the round super close, but I do think Billy Quarantillo got a couple more shots off that looked a little bit better than Cub Swanson in the second. So I'll go 1-1 going to the third is what I think kind of what was happening. Striking. Pretty much only striking. All right. Third round comes around. There were some takedowns in this fight, but they didn't hold any value. But third round, Cub Swanson pulls off one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. And it was weird the way I called it out while it was happening. I called it right before it was about to happen. And Cub Swanson at 136 into the third knocks out Billy Quarantillo with a fucking slick right hand. It was amazing. Billy Quarantillo goes straight fucking back, flat out cold, and Cub starts like making a face at him and accidentally licks the ref's arm, which is funny. But yeah, third round, Swanson still pretty even on the feet up until this point, but then Swanson catches him with some deadly ass fucking shot and puts Billy out cold in a fucking epic way. This card is amazing. What an amazing way to end the year, and an amazing knockout for Cub Swanson. Sick as shit. I still think he would have won by decision if this didn't happen, but he didn't need the decision. No refs were needed in a lot of this card, and Cub gets it done by knockout. Flatline. Amazing fight. Such a good card. Next, Colby Covington versus Joaquin Buckley. I went with Buckley by finish early, and I was mistaken. Colby Covington has some grit in him. He is a tough motherfucker, and I thought he was going to be able to. I thought his chin would let him down a little bit in this fight with Buckley's big, crazy punches. But it didn't. Colby Covington was strong, willed, at least. But I do think Colby Covington's willingness to go forward with the fight was definitely diminished a little bit after that first takedown attempt. So the first round, Joaquin Buckley and Colby Covington, they start going back and forth on the feet a little bit. Buckley is obviously getting the better of him on the feet. Colby Covington shoots his first takedown and just gets fucking like the worst stuff I've ever seen in my life. It like sends Colby backwards how hard Joaquin stuffed the takedown. It was actually crazy to watch because usually Colby can pressure cook a guy pretty good in the wrestling. Joaquin just the most mean sprawl I've ever seen in my life, and Colby couldn't do shit about it. Then it was a striking battle. You could tell Colby was like, "Oh fuck." I couldn't even take him down in the first round like at all. All he could hope for was that he would wilt in the later rounds, but Joaquin is putting it on him. He's now putting a pressure. He wins the first round clearly and cuts open Colby Covington on his eyelid with an uppercut, which is a big part of the story of how this fight ended up, sadly. Second round, more of the same. Buckley is throwing like a monster, wrecking Colby Covington. Covington is having his moments. He even threw a tornado kick, which is sick from Colby Covington. Buckley is just outdoing him on the feet. Powerful shots, big shots. He's not tiring. He's not showing any fatigue. He's stuffing everything Colby has to offer. At a certain point, I think it was in the second. It might have been in the third. It might have been shit. At a certain point in the fight, Colby Covington does get Joaquin Buckley down and get top position, but it just doesn't last. Buckley's able to get up and keep hitting him on the feet like he was gonna. The way the fight was going, Buckley was definitely gonna knock him out at some point, in my opinion. Fourth and fifth with that kind of, I don't think Colby gets another takedown. The way Buckley was looking at, I do think it was going to be a finish. But we did not get there because 4 minutes, 42 seconds into the third round. Or, yeah, into the third round. The ref stops it, and the doctor calls it off for the cut above the eyelid that was bleeding a lot. I will say, I didn't think it should be stopped. I think that's boring and lame and stupid. And the eyelid wasn't going to come off, and it was just dumb. But I will say that the amount of blood everywhere was kind of like, holy shit. Like, it was coagulating in a way that was like almost 3D. It was like weird amount of blood, and I was like, holy crap. But it gets stopped due to a cut. Joaquin Buckley gets the win. Sadly, it was looking to be such a good fucking fight. And if it was a highlight finish, it would have been the best card ever, pretty much. So, yeah. That's how this fight card pretty much went. Amazing card. Such a shame in the main event, but still a great fight to watch either way. Joaquin Buckley does some promo on the mic. Lets the crowd tell him who he should fight next. And the crowd tells him that Kamaru is the next fight up. I do think they'll make JDM versus Kamaru at some point. I think that's the fight to make for them. I'd say Buckley. Honestly, I didn't expect this from Buckley. I didn't expect Buckley to be the savior of welterweight. And I actually, how this fight went, I would not be surprised if Buckley becomes champ on a fluke. Or not even a fluke. I think he beats Usman. I think he beats Bilal. I think he beats... I think he beats Shafkat. I think he beats Leon. I think he beats Kamaru. I think he beats... The people that he's not going to beat are these strikers that can really give him some damage early on. Like a Prates or a JDM. A Shafkat could probably do something. Ian Gary might be able to do something. But Bilal Muhammad gets fucked up by Buckley, I think, is what I've noticed from this. I think any pressure wrestler is going to get fucked by Buckley because he is hard to take down. He is a little power machine. And he does not get taken down. Is what maybe Colby doesn't have the oomph in his takedowns like he used to, but the way he sprawled those takedowns was like, holy shit. He's not getting taken down by anybody. I think he knocks out Bilal. I think he knocks out Usman. Yeah. I think Buckley's a real problem for this welterweight division now, moving forward. And I think they should give him Leon next. I think that everybody else kind of has a fight lined up, to be honest. So I think he should get Leon next. I think if he chins Leon, then fight for the belt, to be honest. Obviously, at that point, you give him the belt. But I do like this performance more than the Shafkat performance against Ian Gary. Against arguably a better opponent in Colby Covington. I know that's really arguable right now. But I would say that was more impressive than Shafkat decisioning out Ian Gary in a wrestling match. I would say that. So if they wanted to give Buckley a jump up and just instantly give him a title shot, I'm fine with that too, to be honest. Buckley is proving to be entertaining as fuck. It helps a lot that Buckley's in this situation now because he does have the best knockout in UFC history. And using that as promo is going to be huge for the UFC, I think. He has the best knockout, in my opinion, in UFC history. I forget, how did I forget who it's against? One sec. Bruh. Impa Kazan, whatever, Impa. He caught the kick and then spinning kicked in midair and knocked him out cold. Best KO ever, in my opinion. And yeah, with that, using that as promo, Joaquin Buckley can be a pretty good star at welterweight. He knows how to work the mic a bit, and he wants to. He looks like a freak, but that only adds to his character, in my opinion. I like Joaquin Buckley. I think he's sick. And I think I really looked past him for some reason when I was thinking about welterweight as a whole. And now that this performance has come and gone, I think he's the new guy. It's him and JDM for me that are like going to become stars in this welterweight division. So yeah, that's how this fight card went. I think it was amazing. End of the year, so not much for a while, sadly. But the next year starts off pretty sick. Not the first fight night. That fight night's ass. But the first pay per view is sweet. So I will talk to you when I talk to you. I'll see you soon.